Hello everyone. In today's episode of Let's Make, we will make a tractor tire. Let's begin. So I'm going to select cylinder. I can use 0.5 radius. Make it about 0.3 tall. 1 height segment. And I'm going to leave it on 18 sides. Convert it to double poly. I have already inserted some textures ahead of time. I have the tire tread and the tire sidewall. So let's see, sidewall, let's see, tread is 2, sidewall is 3. Just drop that on there. Alright, we're going to select the tread, go to modifiers, UV coordinates, UVW map. We're going to use cylinder. You can see the cage around it, and it's fine, but let's click fit to make sure. Now you can see all the lines around it to where it's a nice smooth cage around it. And we'll do, let's try 6. That looks alright. I mean, I could do, let's say 8. Yeah, that looks fine. So I could collapse it, or I can convert to editable poly. Force of habit's just to convert it to editable poly to collapse it, because I have it on a shortcut. So I'm going to center it. Now, at this point, we could freehand cut out the circle. You could leave this as is, and you would have a kind of low poly tire. But what I want to do is I want to cut out the center bit. So I'm just going to cut that out, because I will clone and bring down the top when it's done. I'm going to use another cylinder, and then I'll go to top view. Make sure it's tall enough. Alright, so let's blow this up some. Maybe 45. That looks pretty good. Alright, so let's select the tire. Poly select. Let's go to wireframe and inset. Now, when I'm scrolling down, you can see here, that's about right. But what you notice is these white lines are going through the red area. That means it hasn't quite inset all the way, so the polys are folding over on itself. So what you need to do is go all the way down, so where the red dot's in the middle, and now when it comes back out, you notice those white lines are gone. I'm going to say that's pretty close. So we can remove that. And now we need to I mean, that looks great. Remap this, just grow it, unwrap. So select everything and flatten it. Let's see, tread sidewall. Okay. So I don't want to use this outside edge. I'd kind of like to do it on this inner line. So what I'm going to do is the outside edge might be perfectly fine for you, but it's just a preference. Alright, so I have all of the outside verts selected. I come up here, click the scale, and then I'm just going to bring it down to where it's right on that edge. You know what? Looks like I can move it up just a little. That looks fine. Alright. Let's close that. Let's collapse it. Alright, so we're going to pull this down. We're going to clone it to element. We'll flip it. And then I'm just going to snap it into place. Alright, so then we'll pop. So you can see the bottom there. So we're going to polyselect there. Polyselect there. And then we're going to use bridge. So it connects the two polys. So we got the inner of the tire. You could create a lip by just extruding down and then double siding the texture. Good and bad. Yeah, it'll look like a real tire, but you'll see the tire texture on the inside. So you know, the inside of a tire is solid black. I prefer just to go this route. It'll still look the part. It'll just we'll remap this to the black section in the middle. Let's unfold it. Alright, now that we collapse this down, I mean, we could leave this tire as is, but I would like to bevel the edges just a little bit. You could chamfer the edges, but you'll lose the mapping a little bit. So what I'll do is grab an edge, ring it, connect to, pinch it right about there. Let's see. I want to select the middle, so I'll select that one edge, ring it. I will hold Control and Poly, and when you hold Control and then switch from vert or edge to Poly, whatever select it, it will then select, since it's just that edge, edge. I hold Control, select Poly, it then selects everything that is around it. Then I'll go to Scale. And I'll just blow that out just a little. And ta-da! So let's unhide all. Let's render it out. Alright, there it is rendered out. One easy way to look to see if anything stands out that doesn't look right, but it seems okay from here. So one last thing is let's check the smoothing groups. 4, that's fine. Alright, the top doesn't have one, so let's ring it. Let's give it, say, just 17. Just, we know that's not selected. Same for here. Ring it. Poly. 17. Let's see what's the inside. Inside's 1. That should be fine. 4 and 4. Okay. Let's just double check the render real quick, but we'll rotate around to the other side. Personally, I am pleased with that. You have a nice solid tire. Stick around the track. One thing, now if you want to go in and add a little more detail, you could round this edge off even more. Let's ring it. Connect. Let's see. Alright, what we can also do is select that edge, ring it. You can see the line here. Usually the sidewall comes to a point, and then the tire will curve in just a little bit. So let's, let's use this line here. It's hard saying. I guess you could probably go with either or. Depending on the tire texture you have, we'll just go with this one. Let's grab this edge. Now I'll loop it and just push it down just a little. Alright, so I will re-render this out and see what we look like. As you can see, I added in a little more detail. Added that extra line here. I sunk the middle in just a little bit, but with this type of prop, it's really hard to tell the difference unless it's a drastic change. So I personally probably would have just kept it the way it was before. It's all preference. Now, if this is something you'll be up close and personal to, then definitely would be visible. But outside of that, there you go. You have yourself a tire to place around the track, cut corners, or just stack them up to, depending on the texture you have, you could easily 2, 3, stack them up to have a tire barrier. Appreciate the video. Slap that like button. Any questions or comments, please post them below. Suggestions for other props, post that below as well. And as always, thanks for watching.